The roller coaster ride that is our weather across the United States could potentially turn sharply colder Thanksgiving week, bringing frigid temperatures and some snow. We'll talk all of this and more on today's Veterans Day edition, coming your way. Welcome back, Weather Nerds. I'm meteorologist Greg Majeski, back with you here on Veterans Day. Doing a Veterans Day edition here, kind of getting you ahead for planning purposes for travel, looking ahead to Thanksgiving week. And boy, things are looking pretty dynamic. The jet stream is definitely getting a lot more active, and we got a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and take a look. The storm system that's bringing my attention to Thanksgiving week is going from Monday night into Tuesday. And you can clearly see here we've got a very amplified pattern with the jet stream. You've got an area of high pressure that is kind of sitting in the upper levels here across the west. And look at this jet stream that's diving out of Canada, diving straight in across the United States. And the area that I'm going to be watching closely going into Tuesday is the potential for maybe some active severe weather across the southeast, because of a divergent airflow there that kind of allows for spin in the atmosphere there. And then as the system kind of lifts on out, maybe some snows into the Midwest. Now, both the European model and the GFS model are showing this. Now, they do differ as far as the exact track and the intensity, but there's definitely something there to watch. So I'm looking at the GFS right now. Watch as I go ahead and step you through this as this thing begins to make that turn and that twist. You're looking at the turning of the air mass there across Georgia and the Carolinas. That's where that severe weather threat. And then on the back part of this, with that cold air quickly coming in behind this, parts of the Ohio River Valley, maybe even get down toward Kentucky, could see some snows out of this as we head later into the week. This is going into Tuesday and into Wednesday. So for any of you travelers out there on Thanksgiving week, this is something you definitely want to keep your eye on. Now, briefly touching on a couple of weather systems that are coming up this week. We're looking at basically the 14th and 15th. We are going to see some much needed rains falling across portions of the southeast, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, where they've been dealing with drought conditions there. And the storm system that's coming in on the west coast this week, not going to be as strong. It kind of got cut off a little bit there. And as it moves in, it's actually going to weaken there. So not going to get as much precipitation or as heavy mountain snows that was expected earlier in the week. But I want to go ahead and advance this forward and take a look at the major storm system, looking for the travel week going ahead into Thanksgiving week. We're talking about the 20th to 21st into that time frame. So let me go ahead and skip you through this again as that low kind of moves out of the southeast and that kind of clears on out. And then the low out on the west coast, it brings in some rain, some snows, but it weakens tremendously as it does so. Now, as we go forward, this is going into Sunday, the 19th of November. We're going to watch that cold air really start to dive down, coming in with a very active jet stream diving into the south. As it does so, it's going to cause cyclogenesis, low pressure that's going to develop down in here. And as it does so, it's going to be bringing in some much colder temperatures across the eastern third of the United States. We're going to watch for some heavy rains in the northeast, thunderstorms potential across the southeast. We'll have to watch closely for the severe factor there, as well as some snows. So let's go ahead and step you through this again on the American GFS model. As again, we see this low begin to take form and take shape through Missouri. The pressure really starts to fall, 994 millibars and 991. You're seeing that cold air really get wrapped around that. And look as we head into overnight period as we're heading into Monday into Tuesday. So we're talking about the 20th into the 21st. You're seeing that cold air wrapping on down. You're seeing some sort of squall line coming here through Georgia. This heavier rain is going to advance across the northeast, and on the backside of this, we're going to see that snow kind of advance areas of north and Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, going into Wednesday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday as this begins to move on through. Of course, a lot of travel plans that week, so that's why we got to watch this very closely. There you go, heading into Tuesday morning. You're seeing the snows across northern Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, as this low gets really wrapped up, 975 millibars there, and some pretty heavy rains there showing up across portions of New England as well with this. And you're seeing the snows obviously on the back side of this, a very tight pressure gradient, so it's going to be very windy on the back side of this as well. This is the GFS model. Let's take a look at the European model. The 10 days just kind of wrapping up so that you kind of compare the two as far as the intensity of that low pressure. Their European model, which goes out about 10 days, kind of overlaps a little bit with the GFS for that storm system I'll be tracking heading into Monday and Tuesday here. And there are some similarities here as we're seeing the rains here across the southeast. You've seen the low pressure systems a little bit further south over toward Texas. But as far as the dynamics with it, it doesn't appear to be nearly as strong, as I'm just not seeing as much cold air or strong jet energy coming in on the backside of this system. So there are some differences there to watch closely. So as we get closer to this particular event, we'll be able to fine tune the forecast. But right now, the way it's looking, that we could have some travel headaches for the early portion of Thanksgiving week that you definitely need to keep aware of and be a watchful eye on as we get closer to that week. A lot of folks like to travel, of course, Thanksgiving week. And please consider tuning in back here for your updates. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for joining the channel. Already close to 350 subscribers. That's about 1.5% of everybody watching the videos. So if you could do me a favor, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notification tab. That way you can get updates on the forecast and you get alerted whenever I upload new content. That's your forecast look for now. You guys have a great Veterans Day weekend. Happy Veterans Day out there to all my fellow veterans. Have a good day.